Good afternoon, guys. I just wanted to go over the slideshow with you guys in class today so you could see um, the notes and what we are doing. So uh, we talked about, or Miss Krutz, the other World Civ teacher, did the video for the first notes. I'm doing this video with you guys. And so today we're talking about the Neolithic Revolution. And the Neolithic Revolution is really important because it is the first time where lifestyle of humans change from being hunters and gatherers and being nomadic and moving from place to place, just finally deciding that they're going to settle down and set up roots and start farming and building villages and then towns and then finally many cities. So this is the big change from nomadic lifestyle to agriculture. And so we're going to talk about that today and talk about some of the notes. So the Neolithic Revolution happened about 12,000 years ago, which I mean isn't that long ago when you consider that Earth is millions of years old. Just 12,000 years ago, instead of hunting, they learned to farm. They learned to stay in one place. They learned to create permanent villages or settlements, and they changed in human societies from hunting and gathering to a more settled way of life based upon agriculture and the domestication of animals. And again, domestication is a vocab term, and domestication means that you figure out how to control animals for the purpose of serving humans. So, like cats and dogs today are domesticated animals. They can be wild, but most of them are, companions of humans, and they live in our homes. Domestication raised them in a controlled way that makes them best suited to human use. So scientists believe that dogs were the first animal to be domesticated, and then goats, sheep, pigs, and cattle. And obviously, goats, sheep, pigs, and cattle were used as a food source. Goats are used for their milk. Sheep are used for their wool to make clothing, and then pigs and cattle were used for food. Okay, so agricultural society. So we're going to talk about Çatalhöyük and Atsi the Iceman. And there's a couple of short videos about each one embedded in this slideshow. Please watch them. They're really short, they're really brief, but they do show you a lot about Çatalhöyük and Atsi the Iceman, and they give you lots of insight into both topics. Okay, so this is obviously a photo recreation of what Çatalhöyük looked like, and Çatalhöyük is in modern day Turkey. So the country Turkey is where Çatalhöyük was at, and this was a big deal when they found this because this was the first like settlement they found. I mean, if you look at it, it looks like a little town, and these are all houses right here, and you're going to see the view of them. And I'm going to show you some more pictures, and there's a little video of it. But Çatalhöyük is in Turkey, and this is the first settlement that they really find, and that they actually find enough of it that there's remains and artifacts that the anthropologists and archaeologists could study. And again, this is another rendering or drawing of it. But what's really interesting about Çatalhöyük, it's really cool. If I go back, you look at this, these are windows. You don't see any doors. Notice there's no doors anywhere on the side. They're all windows. So where are the doors at? Well, the doors are on the roofs. So these are the openings that are on the roofs here. And this is how you would get into your home, into your house. So they have these ladders, you would climb up, and then you would go into the dwelling or into the structure from the roof. Now, this was really smart for a couple of reasons. One, it made sure wild animals couldn't get in the side of their going through the door. They could keep all the scorpions and snakes and spiders and all the stuff you don't want in your dwelling out. But it also allowed for air to get through with the windows. But then with having a roof open, when it would rain, they would just put these large, pots in there and collect the water, and they used it as water inside of their home. So it's really smart. Okay, and then this is a short video. I want you guys to watch this. I'm not going to play it in this presentation, but this shows you what Çatalhöyük looks like, and it's really cool because now archaeologists and scientists, they actually have a dome, like a dome built over the top. Now, obviously, Çatalhöyük doesn't look like this now. It's in ruins, right? It's just remains of it. but they have a dome over the top of it, and they're just combing through each dwelling at each time, and they're looking for all these details and any remains that are left over. And some of the things that they have found, which is really interesting, is that they found family or loved ones were buried underneath the house. And I know that's like kind of creepy and kind of weird, but it's really cool for scientists because that means that they had a belief system in place, like a religion. And according to what they have found, the people that are buried underneath the houses, they were buried with tools, they were buried with clothing, they were buried with items, which means that they thought that there was an afterlife and that these people needed these items in that next life or in the afterlife. So really, really interesting. And it's the first place where scientists have really been able to see the changes from the nomadic lifestyle to this new Neolithic lifestyle of farming. Okay, so that's Chatalhuya. And again, watch this little video. It gives you, it's only a few minutes. Okay, so now moving on to Otzi the Iceman. So Otzi the Iceman is the earliest Neolithic human found. So Otzi the Iceman, they found him in the Alps in Italy. And I know when we think of Italy, we think of like spaghetti and pizza and striped shirts and the little boats where they row and sing to you, and the French mustaches and Italian mustache, all that. But Italy also has mountains that are covered in snow, and they're in the northern part of Italy. And so they found Otzi the Iceman like up here. Okay. And Otzi, this is how they found him. It kind of just looks like, a dead body. At first they thought it was just someone that was hiking up in the mountain and, got hurt or stranded or whatever and died up there. But then when they got closer and they looked at it, they're like, no way. This thing is super old. It has no clothes. It's just like this. So obviously this is old. So Otzi the Iceman, these are the guys that found him. Ooh, look, they're using no gloves. This guy's got gloves, but this guy does not, and that's kind of creepy. But anyways, they found Otzi the Iceman, and he's like the first mummy that we ever discovered. And I know what you're thinking. When we think of mummies, we think of the Egyptians and how they'd wrap them in that cloth and stuff. But Otzi was mummified because he was frozen. So he was stuck up in the top of the Alps. He was frozen. They found him. He had a cloak. He had boots. He had tools. He had stuff with him. And so it was a really awesome find for archaeologists and anthropologists because he was like preserved. Like they were able to run DNA samples on him. They were able to pull samples out of his stomach. They figured out what the last thing he ate was. They figured out how old he was when he died. They were able to figure out a lot of information about Otzi that they wouldn't have if they found Otzi not in the Alps. Say they found him just buried underground. He wouldn't have been preserved the way that he was. So that's what makes Otzi so incredible. And this is like a rendering. This is what they believe Otzi would have looked like with flesh and hair and all that, which is pretty interesting. Okay, so Otzi, they found him, and he is 5,000 years old. That's pretty crazy. 5,000 years old. So it's just absolutely mind-blowing that someone was just, going through the Alps, and they just found this guy sticking out of the ground, and then they dated him, and they figured out he's 5,000 years old. He's the earliest human ever found. Neolithic human ever found. And so again, there is a little video down here about Otzi the Iceman. Please watch that video. It has lots of information in it. It gives you a little bit more information than I'm able to give you. Okay, and so then after you're done reading these notes and watching this video that I'm recording right now, I want you to answer these questions. There's only 4 of them, so please type your answer right in here. I'm going to have this in Google Classroom. Each one of you will have a copy. Please upload this and answer your questions in here, and then you can carry on with the rest of your classwork. I'll see you guys. All right, bye.